Hello, friends, and welcome to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Today we find ourselves en route to Kiava Gamma. We have entered several different optional locations, we've had some serious combats, and we have come out on top every time. We have finally broken through the glass ceiling on space combat. We are still looking to upgrade our ship some more, get a little bit more leveling done on the ship before we try to do the space combat required for um, Solomorn, but we are still en route. So we're going to hit Kiava Gamma, do everything there, and see if we can get some more items for our ship. But at the moment, we have a little bit of traveling to do. This is Disabled. My name is Ed, and let's get into it. Okay. Let's pop in here and see what's going on. Okay, we are done in here, so let's look at moving on to the systems we are trying to get to. We would like to get over into this area because this is Kiava Gamma and everywhere we need to be. So it looks like we have a path going this direction, but not from here. I can safely warp to this location, and it gives me this one as an option. And we can reduce route difficulty to safe. It is a -2, and when we get here, we'll be able to chart again, which will get us 1 back. So we're going to lose 1 and gain 1. Warp travel. Chart new routes. Beautiful. And now we're getting down here into the Kiava Gamma area. So wonderful. We've got a couple of locations we can pop to, but first let's go in and check this one out. Okay, let's hit the planets first. Scan it up. And we are out of Extractium, so we can find it, but we cannot access it as of yet. Scan it up. Okay, we've got Promethium here, which we would like to have. We have 7, but always could use more. But we'll jump in here and explore the bizarre ruins. The bizarre structure observed from orbit appears to be the ruined estate of a wealthy noble. Further searching reveals the remains of an envirodome, a landing pad, the main manor, and servants' quarters. It is impossible to determine what exactly happened there. The search team has found something truly disturbing in the main hall, an opulently clothed skeleton sitting at the dinner table. The table is set with gold plates covered with old blood and piles of bones. The bones on the plates are clearly human. No other remains have been found on the estate. Search through the remains for anything valuable. The scout team returns with some expensive weapons taken from the skeleton. After finishing their report, they hurry away whispering prayers. Okay, and we got an assault lasgun, which is not very valuable to anybody on our team, but it is a nice weapon if it's something you're interested in. Okay, got another planet out here. Let's go check it out. And scan it up. More plasteel. Plasteel everywhere. Okay, we've got the Recoliger's Plot, which is a named ship, and we have an unidentified void ship. Let's check out the unidentified one since we're right here beside it. A Vox notification from the Augur crew drowns out the usual noise on the bridge. An Imperial vessel, the Dark Piercer, and its escort ships are headed your way. Your archives make no mention of either the ship or its owner. As you consider your course of action, the ship's captain contacts you first. Introducing himself as the Pilgrim, the captain greets the rogue trader courteously and offers to purchase any information you might have on crystal phlogiston deposits. Ask why the captain calls himself the Pilgrim. The captain admits he has not always done the right thing in his life, but he once beheld the blessing of the Emperor himself, and has followed a special path of service to him ever since. That is the path he now treads as the Pilgrim. Why does he need phlogiston? The captain's coarse laughter echoes from the Vox. Phlogiston is a part and parcel of many different aspects of life in the Imperium. How exactly his customers are going to use it is none of his concern. All that the Pilgrim promises is that the phlogiston will be used for the good of humanity. I'm not sure how he can guarantee it will be used for the good of humanity if how his customers use it is none of his concern. Those two things do not match up. Jae immediately remarks that someone without a name is not to be trusted. Deals with such people do not tend to end well. If she were you, she would first find out his secrets, and then scrupulously remove him from the equation. Pascal becomes visibly animated at the mention of phlogiston. Though indifferent to the prospect of a deal with the shadowy individual, the Magos nonetheless recommends you find out more about phlogiston deposits. Your own protectorate would benefit from the knowledge as well. Sister Argenta sincerely believes the words of the Pilgrim. A cowl or a golden aquila are no prerequisites for being his true servant. If the captain sincerely wants to help the Imperium, perhaps by his own methods, there is nothing questionable about extending a helping hand. Ask what you will receive in return. The Pilgrim has been exploring the Coronis expanse for years and knows many of its secrets. He promises to let you in on intriguing rumors that may be of interest to someone with your skills and capabilities. Let's use our commerce and try to get more. Tell him that is not enough. It looks like the captain of the Dark Piercer is unsurprised by your reaction. He is also willing to pay in golden securities for any information on phlogiston. We are not dogmatic, so we are not necessarily interested in abiding by the letter of the law. We are also not heretical, so if this person had seemed very much as if he's working for the ruinous powers, we wouldn't want to help him either. But as someone who is a bit shady, I don't have a particular problem with that. Gladius does not have a particular problem with that. So we are going to propose a deal. Valuable information in exchange for phlogiston. The captain of the Dark Piercer is in the best of spirits. In gratitude for your invaluable help, he sends you a small box containing ancient maps and documents. They appear to speak of a certain imperial world lost many centuries ago. We gained 2 profit factor and some experience. Then, in a somewhat conspiratorial tone, the Pilgrim relates a story about a standoff between 2 Xenos fleets, which he was told by an acquaintance. The person in question, sadly enough, died at the hands of the Inquisition before they were able to pass on the coordinates for the crash site of one of the Xenos ships. However, the Pilgrim knows for a fact that the vessel met its demise on an ocean world. Bid farewell to the Pilgrim and travel onward. Later, Gator. Let's go to Recoliger's plot. A ship that once traveled the galaxy is now suspended in the silent void like the gnawed carcass of a giant monster. When the rogue trader's void ship approaches, the Voxmaster reports an incoming message. A colony of the Imperium subjects have made their home in the bowels of the ship. They welcome the Lord Captain. Visit the colony. And we'll take our normal team. Might be a bit of a red flag that we came down to visit the colony in person and not in a text screen like we have the last 2 times we visited a colony. So we may have some combat in our future, folks. Welcome, your lordiness. Please, please, come right in. And you nitwits, quit your gawking and get to work. Okay, well. Interesting. Nameplate.
My pleasure.
The plate reads Lathanos Pride. The name Lethano surfaces in your mind, the history of a family from the Coronis Expanse who invested all they had in a family ship. The ship perished in the warp on its maiden voyage. The Lethano line never recovered from this crushing blow. Found it! We got some goods here. Looks like we're allowed to take them. Whoa, check out the visitors over here. Must be something big,
Keep
eh?
your wits about you.
Thank you, strange Canadian man.
Who would have thought that the lowly Jai Hedari would become part of the rogue trader's retinue? The Exalted One is truly generous.
The path of the Emperor's chosen takes strange twists and turns. But as long as your heart is filled with faith, I welcome you to our ranks.
Oh, Argenta. As long as you're not Adira, she loves you.
I always keep my options open.
Hey, you got more goods? Whoa, and accidentally hit some buttons there. Good deal. Lordiness, it's just rubbish. Now, why would you want to go through it, eh?
You were an excellent fighter, sister, but if I may be blunt, you were too impulsive.
Your point is, my hand is guided by the Emperor. Every shot and strike will find its target among the ranks of the enemies of humanity.
Yeah, buddy. Don't tell her how to do her job. A working area where fragments of the ship are dismantled in search of scraps of valuable metal or parts.
Let us not dawdle.
A dump site of cut pieces of metal and other materials, probably from clearing out a path deeper in the ship. We're just taking pieces apart and tossing them to the side. Doesn't seem great. A tired-looking woman of indeterminate age, clad in work clothes, breaks from her task to greet you. She freezes momentarily, clearly unsure how to address you, then says simply, "Your lordship, please excuse me. I don't really know your name. Welcome to our little colony. May the light of the Emperor be with you, and with us. My name's Retta Maximova. I'm in charge here." What is this place? We just call ourselves Retta's crew, and this place is Retta's camp. That's it. We're recalligers, scavengers in common terms. She does not speak the word scavengers with any kind of disdain. On the contrary, there is dignity in her voice, the kind with which one would announce their affiliation with a respected guild or family. What do you do here? Right now, we're gutting this old heap of junk, slowly but surely. That's a recalliger's life for you. They drop us off at some decrepit station on an ancient battlefield. We just sit there for years on end. We look for work and tech, valuable materials, whatever else might be useful. If we find anything, we sell it to passing ships. Not the easiest job out there. These wrecks are chock full of all kinds of dangers. But, and I swear it on my plasma torch, it's an exciting one for sure. This little bird's got all kinds of bells and whistles. Most of the tech is dead, but we do find working pieces now and again. We spent 2 whole months clearing out this shaft we found. Finished just 3 days ago, actually. And we found this, thing. A bit weird looking, but still functional. Retta's expression brightens a little. Perhaps your lordship would like to buy this component from us. I'll bet that big ship you've got could get plenty of use out of it. I will buy the component. Well, isn't that something? The Emperor himself must have smiled upon us. Retta makes a triumphant gesture. I mean, thank you, your lordship. You'll be pleased with the results. Okay, we got some Magnus class rechargeable batteries, so we can sell that to get ship parts. I like that. Her mood visibly improves. You know, your lordship, It's kind of embarrassing to offer you this, but over in that corner there, we keep things we don't rightly understand or can't really use. You could send some of your people to check it out if you'd like. Clearly, you know more about this stuff than us. You might find something useful. You got your own ship? No, not even close. A luxury like that? You could count the Recaligas who got their own ship on one hand. An old worker's hand that got sucked into machinery 3 times and slashed by a plasma cutter twice. We fly with whoever, mostly just taking our chances. Sometimes we hitch a ride on the promise that we'll pay with what we find later. Other times we find some other means. Risky business, obviously. 5 years back, a crew got dropped off in an abandoned station. Something wasn't right with the life support systems. Ship came back to pick 'em up 2 years later and found nothing but bodies. And then about 15 years ago, before I had my first little one, a ship took 3 crews to locations and ran into pirates on the way back. Hoo-wee! The ships go out on expeditions for years at a time, so it was ages before anyone realized they were missing. And it was even longer before they remembered the scavengers. Plus, it took some time to find a ship that could check on them and pick them up. Long story short, all 3 crews had bought it. Yup. Can you tell me anything about this wreck? Not much. We're not eggheads. We're manual labor. It's an ancient thing, pretty dangerous. We don't really know much beyond that. Before we came here, some tech priests had done their own bit of gutting. I mean, ritualing, bowing to the spirits, all that. That lot don't tend to leave a whole lot of valuables behind, it's true, but it's way too scary to go in before 'em. And hey, we dragged a dozen of their broken servitors out of the mines after. The carcasses smell something awful, but you could pluck a decent number of parts out of a servitor and sell 'em. Doesn't seem like there's anything nasty living inside the wreck now, but the wreck itself is barely holding together. You go a couple of modules from here, and that's it. You won't take another step without fearing that a broken reactor might cook you alive, or a whole module might depressurize. Well, it's nothing we haven't handled before, so we're having a poke at it. But we don't have a clue what this ship is or who it belonged to. I can take you from this place. It's not safe here, and sooner or later, it will drift somewhere so remote that nobody will ever find you again. But this is our whole livelihood, your lordship. You take us from here, and what are we going to do? Sit in some hole slaving away? Here we've got our own colony, our own operation. No, this is our path, and we won't stray from it. You take pride in your trade, I see. Sure do. It takes skill and luck, and a good head on your shoulders. We risk our lives every day, crawling on top of these old buckets. If something goes wrong, we die, by the score sometimes. One moment we're there, the next we're gone, kind of like worker ants. But you know what, your lordship? Our job also has something, well, how should I put it? Poetic about it. Hope you don't judge me too harshly or take it as insolence, but some people, even big people like you, think a bit too highly of themselves. Let's say your ship hops into the warp someday, but doesn't hop out of it in time, and around 1,000 years later, another gal like myself, who needs to feed her 3 ankle-biters somehow, finds herself rifling through its remains, looking for anything good. That's just the nature of things. Each of us comes and goes, but the way the world works stays the same. We all have our lot in life, and mine is just as good as any other. You speak as if the world is set in stone, and none of us can change anything for the better. Those are some big things you're talking about, way out of my depth. Change for the better? Heck, that'd be nice. Retta pauses to think. If I was younger and didn't have 3 youngsters back home, maybe I would dream about stuff like that too. But as it is, I've got no time for dreaming. I gotta work. I see. Your lordship, Retta falters as if flustered by her own nerve. Please don't take it as insolence, but it's not like I have much choice. It's not often that we get well-stocked ships around here, and we could certainly use more provisions and some warm clothes. If it's something you'd be willing to provide, we would gladly barter for it with whatever we can dig up inside this here ship. It's just a respectful offer of fair trade. She bows slightly before stepping aside. Okay, well, I think we can do some fair trade on that front. Alright, let's take a look around. The simple machinery and tools look a little well-worn, but well-maintained. Echo and Vesper were out running around somewhere. We have a locked container we can get into with Lore Imperium.
One and it's done.
A damaged safe. The contents of similar safes are destroyed when hacking is attempted. You should not try to open it just like that. But something from the environment could help. Okay. A small selection of valuable finds, carefully sorted and packed. The apparatus gurgles and emits a strong smell of alcohol, probably not of the industrial variety. In this work of crude craftsmanship, you can just make out one of the depictions of the Emperor commonly seen in the Coronis Expanse. Okay. Oh, pile of rubbish with awareness of 100. That might help us get in that safe.
I've read about this.
There's nothing here but cheap scrap metal. Well, we gained experience, so... Okay. A working area where fragments of the ship are dismantled in search of scraps or valuable metals or parts. Oh, we've got another pile.
I didn't?
Among the wreckage was an instruction manual for the duty officer on how to access the safes. You can obtain the codes to the safes by logging into the ship's cogitators. Bliggity bliggity blue. Connect to the cogitator.
And done.
The cogitators appear to be inoperative. Huh. We got experience for it. So we must have done it correctly. We didn't fail it. We just have to turn them on. Let's hit back to all of our options here. Okay. Looking around, looking around. Ah, another cogitator. Thank you, Copper Tongue.
A job for me.
15 experience for that one as well, but also inoperative. We've got another one over here.
My pleasure.
Another 15. We are definitely working through them, that's for sure. Got another cogitator down this way. Let's give it a look-see.
One and it's done.
The cogitator is off, but appears intact. You can try to power it from a local source. Okay, this is a little harder tech check. Let's see if we have something to give Jai to make that easier for us. That's logic, which might actually improve her tech use. Nope, went down. Armor, coercion. Oh, we need to put that back on Adira. There we go. Get her re-outfitted there. Tech use. Perfect. We'll put that back after this check. Now we're at 92. I like it.
A job for me.
Perfect. Now we need to find the code to the safe with logic. So we can add this for logic. First, let's put the holster back. Beautiful. This will help our logic out a little bit. Oh, no, not him. Her. There we go. This will help out our logic. She's at 86. Oh, nope, she lost it. The helm is actually helping her in that regard, apparently. Anything else for logic? Her logic is actually higher than Pascal's, we discovered. So, he has higher tech use, but she has higher logic. I don't think there are any logic boots. I think we like that gunslinger's helmet, though. Plus 10 to ballistic skill, too. Look at that. Man. I like both of those. Okay, alright, this is what we got. So let's give it a shot. A little lower opportunity. Let's give it a save. Logic.
My pleasure.
Excellent. You successfully logged in with the duty officer credentials and obtained the code to the safe. Beautiful. So let's go get in the safe. And we got a fractal blade, one-handed melee weapon, 10 to 20 damage and 40% armor pen. Yes, please. The wielder of this sword gains a plus 25% bonus to parry. Plus 10% parry, minus 10 to enemy weapon skill when hit. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Let's take a look at what I've got. That's the same. Chain weapons deal plus 25% critical damage. When hit by this weapon, the target suffers a minus 5% penalty to armor and it stacks. So we're going to keep that weapon. We will swap out the elite chain sword. So drop it in here, and we're going to put on the fractal blade, which does
My
more
gut
damage.
tells me it's a bad idea.
What? Aldari weapon? Come on. Okay, never mind. It's trash. Can't do anything with it. Trash, trash, trash. I can use the ancient force sword, though honestly, that's probably better for Heinrichs. Yep, it's an upgrade. We'll go with that. 12 to 15. See if that helps Gladius at all. Nope, it's not as good as what he's got. Okay, so never mind. We're done here. Alright, let's check this one. Something is propped against the door from the inside. You can hear the piercing sounds of a saw and other tools coming from behind it. Alright, folks, I think we're done here. We have spoken to everyone that needs to be spoken to. Let's talk to Retta one more time, make sure we're good. And we are. Okay, let's head back to the ship. No fight, no combat. We did get some goods out of a safe, though. I'll take that. Beautiful. We've done all the planets, and now we've done Recaligar's plot, so we are good to go. Wonderful. We have 2 locations to travel to. We can do a 1-to-1 here. And we can get that back. And it charted no routes at all, but we did actually... Okay, well, whatever. We got the point. That was the important part. Hey, we've got some enemies of humanity over here. We might get to do another space combat. Hopefully we can win it. Let's check out the planet. Scan it up. Okay, no resources. Next. Scan it up. Got plasteel. Next. Scan it up. And no resources. Ooh, Argento wants to chat though. By their arduous labor and unbreakable spirit do his faithful servants fuel hundreds of Imperial worlds. Their entire lives are an example of true service to humanity. Thank you, Argenta. Let's check out the warp gate. That feels like it would be valuable. Like, if we get that going, would that give us some more points, maybe? I don't know. Lord Cotton, we're passing by a construct marked on the star charts as a dimensional gate. Our augurs are not showing any suspicious energy readings. The device is dormant, think the Emperor. What is this gate? An ancient Xeno artifact, older than humanity itself. Judging by its design, this is a gate leading, somewhere. Possibly straight into the wicked abyss of the warp, considering all the nasty shite that used to roam around here. Many captains, Her Ladyship Theodora included, have tried to reveal its secrets, but it seems no one could figure out how it works. Good for them, if you ask me. What was Theodora interested in? Her Ladyship didn't exactly share her plans with us, always kept them close to her chest, you know. But I'll go out on a limb and say she was searching for a way to open the gate and see what's on the other side. The Cognizance fleet conducted its own analysis of this Xeno artifact. All records of the expeditions to the site were added to the exploration catalog. Nasty in what way exactly? I don't want to repeat the rumors, and I don't know the truth, but it was bad. There was word of ships and even whole trade convoys disappearing. Captains started avoiding the system, until eventually the Lord Inquisitor came here and made short work of it. Hasn't been much in the way of rumors ever since, actually. The Inquisition made sure voidsmen kept their mouths shut. Whatever the gate used to spew out, it must have been profane and a danger to humanity. Report received. We live to serve, Lord Captain. I wish to study this construct. Lord Captain, I would advise against approaching the gate. The Inquisition has declared the entire area around it off limits and packed it with mines. Our augurs won't be able to detect them. Alright, then we'll ignore the construct. Consider it done. Boo. Okay. Well, let's save. We've got some enemies of humanity over here to deal with, potentially. If it goes well, I will bring you in. If not, we'll let you skip it, because I know you don't want to just watch me fail again and again. Okay, we will dodge the enemies of humanity there. I got in, and all of them got the opportunity to attack us before we could move or do anything at all, which immediately put us behind the 8 ball. I think if we had gotten to go first, we might have had an opportunity to do something there, because some of the ships were fairly low hit point, and if we could have been in a better position, but the way that it had us approach it, where they all get opening salvo, and by the time we get to do anything at all, we are already at half health. It was not great. And there were several of those little ships that we were going to have to deal with. So I think that we will just mess with that in the future. For now, though, let's head down here. We have a Save Aldari Survivor thing. We can make this unsafe and get a 1-to-1, which means that we could potentially have a ship problem, as even invaders on the ship. So I've learned that when you take a route that is unsafe or dangerous, that's when things happen to your ship. And if you take a route that's safe, you don't really have any problems. So we're going to do unsafe, and we will accept any potential issues. see what pops up. The warp jump was a success, but the Voxmaster reported the following incident. Beautiful blossoming vines had covered the deck and bulkheads in loading bay 6. 2 workers had bent down to take a better look at the flowers, and the vines devoured their faces before strangling them. The bay was then sealed and purged. The Immaterium released us from its grip. This time. So every time you do unsafe, there's a chance you're not going to make it out. Let's chart new routes. And we have a route to Kiava Gamma. That is also going to need to be adjusted. Yes, I see that. Okay. Well, let's go in here and check out the Aldari Survivor, shall we? Our destination is in sight. We have a space battle here. Unknown ships there. Let's avoid all of that and do the planets first, as usual. Scan it up. This planet is devoid of even the most primitive forms of life. However, the crew has made quite a strange discovery. A mirror lying right in the center of a huge crater. A completely ordinary mirror in a frame, by all appearances, in pristine condition. Well, let's take the mirror. It's probably a horrifically bad idea, but, why not? It's there. The mirror now hangs on the wall in one of the compartments. It looks completely normal. However, only an hour after its arrival, the Voxmaster reports that the shuttle crew that delivered the mirror has disappeared. The people who hung the mirror have also disappeared. Even the enforcer who wandered into the compartment by mistake and stopped to fix his new non-regulation cravat has vanished without a trace. Well, let's go the dogmatic route here. We don't get dogmatic for it, but I'm interested. Send in a team with righteous prayers on their lips. The team sent to destroy the mirror stopped responding the moment they entered the compartment. Dispatch a group of servitors to jettison the mirror. The team sent to destroy the mirror stopped responding the moment they entered the compartment. Blow up the whole compartment with the mirror inside. Hey, it succeeded. With damage taken to the ship, of course. Deciding that half measures were not enough, the Lord Captain gave the order to blow up the compartment. The demolition team carried out the procedure with pinpoint precision, resulting in minimal damage to the rest of the vessel. However, the picture recorder in the servo skull sent to survey the situation showed that the mirror was not damaged in the slightest, and it was now lying in the cavity left by the explosion. Use explosives first, then depressurize the compartment. It's the only way to ensure the cursed mirror is expelled from the ship. The ship's tech priest mournfully set to work, beseeching the machine spirit for forgiveness. After a series of targeted explosions and depressurization procedures, they assured the Lord Captain that the mirror was gone. Just in case, all cavities were filled with blessed caulk, and binaric hymns were sung for 2 days and nights. There were no further incidents, and the ship was able to continue on its journey. Okay, well, that was awful. Thank you for that horrific experience. Now we need to repair our ship. 48 scrap, which is exactly what we have, which means it's probably not going to get fully repaired. No. We are short of a full repair. Great. That's what we needed. Alright, we have another planetoid. There we go. Go around the corner and get to that planet there. Scan it up. Plasteel. We've got another planet down this way. Scan it up. Okay. A mining world. It looks to me like a filthy, inhospitable hole where loyal subjects freely toil in fathomless mine shafts century after century. Usually until death. Thank you, Jai. Alright, I think the space battle here is what we're here for, so let's go check that out. A vigilant member of the Augur crew has detected a small Xenos vessel drifting through the void. The ship is unpowered and shows no signs of being crewed. Send out a boarding shuttle. The squad boarded the vessel without issue. Corrosion has laid waste to the ship's systems, which led to the death of the entire crew. The interior is full of Aldari corpses. No weapons were found on board, and the dead Xenos, judging by their clothing, were not part of any warrior caste, merely the crew of the now-defunct ship. The Xenos Irliet claims to have recognized the symbols on the dead Aldari's clothes. They were civilian refugees from Craft World Cruderak. Okay, well, to the space battle. Let's hit an F5 here. Make sure we're saved for it. A violent battle is unfolding before the rogue trader's eyes. Patrol ships from the Court of Fleet are tearing apart two small Aldari vessels. Once they're finished with them, the Void ships give chase after the third, already damaged vessel, clearly with the intention of destroying it as well. Seeing the last ship's impending death, Irliet calls out to the Lord Captain, her voice trembling slightly. Only the rogue trader's intervention can save her kin from the massacre. Send a message to Incendiacorda's fleet, ordering them to stop the battle. The Voxmaster relays the Lord Captain's demand to stop the battle and soon returns with a reply. According to the Corda ships, this group of Xenos are malicious criminals. They are guilty of raiding this system's planets and robbing merchant vessels. Incendiacorda's void ships are intent on performing their duty before the Emperor and exterminating the Xenos. Irliet sullenly watches the unfolding chase through the stained glass windows of the captain's bridge. She grimly concedes that no crime should go unpunished, except her kin were flying transport ships. It would have been impossible for them to rob a ship, let alone launch a planetary raid. Vessels such as theirs simply lack the firepower to do so. The Monkey are lying. Analyze the intact Xenoship. Despite the presence of some weaponry, the Xenoship is more likely meant for transporting cargo or the Xenos themselves rather than direct combat. Ask Chorda's patrol for proof of the Xenos transgressions. The patrol's captain reluctantly admits that there is no conclusive proof. This system is sometimes a target of pirate raids. However, this changes nothing, for his servants have no mercy for the enemies of humanity. We'll try the coercion option, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Let's give it a shot. Oh! Unwilling to engage in open battle against the flagship of a foreign dynasty, the patrol reluctantly leaves its prey and retreats to the edge of the system. Meanwhile, the wounded Xenoship is rapidly distancing itself from the recent battlefield, attempting to hide in the shadow of the nearest world. Every attempt to contact it is met with frustration, and the Voxmaster reports that the vessel is in deplorable condition. Who knows how much more the xenotechnology can endure before the irreparable happens. The Aldari are too scared and resentful of the Monkey for their recent deaths of their kin to answer incoming hails. Despite this, Irliet is certain that she can convince them to cooperate with the Elentok if she is allowed to speak with them. Let Irliet speak with her kin. 0% persuasion. This ain't gonna happen. Irliet appeals to her kin's wisdom, but the words of the outcast cannot make them trust Monkey. The pain of loss fills the Aldari hearts. Only recently did the humans destroy two vessels of the children of Asurian, and now they offer aid? Worse, they offer aid through the mouth of their captive sister. No, the Aldari will not fall for this trick. Trying to outpace the pursuit of the next Monkey vessel, the Aldari overload their ship's drives. One of the damaged engines is unable to bear the strain. Before the eyes of 100 officers, the Xenoship flashes a fiery light blue through the stained glass windows, as thousands of tiny shards disperse across the system. The bridge officers openly rejoice, offering prayers to the Emperor. Today the expanse is cleaned of more filth, the enemies of humanity. What is this, if not his providence? And only the thin figure of the Aldari stand motionless against the backdrop of the intricate stained glass windows, mourning the fallen in solemn silence. Once the pain in Irliet's soul is numbed, she turns to the Lord Captain and nods, a short gesture of gratitude for their attempt to save those who could hardly be saved. We did make an effort. Okay, let's bounce out of here. Where to next? Kiava Gamma? Not quite. Let's pop over here. We got a safe route. Hopefully we can get a safe route there and not have to spend 2 points to get there. Chart new routes. Bong. We did! I think we can't get a safe route that direction now. We'll have to do a 1-for-1. That's awesome. Alright, let's visit. What did we find? Only planets. Scan it up. Nice, more promethium. We need some more extractium. I think Kiava Gamma gives us that. It's exactly what we're looking for. Scan it up. A hive city. Not ready to explore that currently. Scan it up. And adamantine. Very nice. Alright, let's check out the hive city, if you will. The Sandhills Pride hives are oozing noxious haze, veined with sulfurous streaks. The promethium fumes from the gigantic distilling cauldrons located beyond the temperature shields. Vast, endless deadlands littered with spots of promethium stations and refineries separate the colossi of rockcrete and adamantine with its crown of gargantuan spires. The heat of this system's star has turned this world into a boiling but lucrative gland within the body of the House Corda Protectorate. It's hard to tell what's more impressive, the grotesque grandeur of this place or its extreme toxicity. Okay, well that was seemingly not worth doing, but okay. Thanks for that game. I'll log that away. Let's do our safe route. Get a 1-to-1 travel here. Chart new routes. And we got no new routes, because why would we, apparently? Alright, let's visit Kiava Gamma system. Lord Captain, according to telemetry, we are in the system of Kiava Gamma, the main industrial world of the Von Valancius dynasty. However, our astropaths report that attempts to contact Governor Gaprak have been unsuccessful. Uh-oh, folks. We could be in for a rocky, rocky time. But wait, the Voxmaster is silent for a few seconds. Lord Captain, a new report. Kiava Gamma is sending a request to exchange data. Should we accept it? They don't tell me if an exchange of data could corrupt the ship and cause all kinds of problems. Reply with our own request. As you command, Lord Captain. The Voxmaster switches to a nearby comm channel to relay your instructions to the crew. For several minutes, nothing happens. Lord Captain, reporting. The Manufactorum is ignoring all our requests and continues to send us its own. The longer we do not accept their messages, the stronger and more persistent the incoming signals become. I've never seen anything like. Suddenly, a deafening screech erupts from the bridge's Vox system. You hear violent tirades of garbled Benaric code like the low chuckles of machinery. Lord Captain, interference detected in the compartment's Vox system. Looks like the bridge is cut off from the rest of the void ship. Awesome. Start of picked recording. The void ship's bridge, sounds of working cogitators and officers' footsteps. The everyday scene is interrupted by an ear-splitting beeping sound, followed by lumens going out. In the dim glow of candles and emergency light, one of the officers in frame cries out. Another falls to her knees, clutching her head. Over the beeping of voxes, shouts can only just be heard. What's going on? The doors are locked! We've lost contact with all compartments! Decipher the incoming Vox transmissions at all costs. Proceed! A team of decryption experts gets to work. Data tethers are inserted into sockets as they connect to the cogitators. One of the Vox clerics leans over the console. Another is writing something on a piece of parchment. But then she bursts into maniacal laughter and stabs herself in the eye with a steel quill. Another scream. A tech priest who was mid-prayer tears himself to pieces with his own mechadendrites. More and more lunatics are mutilating themselves and lunging at others. Portion of pict recording damaged after contact with unknown object. An enforcer shoves a rabid servitor away from the Lord Captain as he rushes to help the crew, shouting out orders. The image on the pict is fuzzy, nothing but glimpses of people shouting, racket, and the Lord Captain's orders. Within minutes, the crazed crew members are either dead or bound and unconscious. The officers clustered around the Lord Captain are barely breathing, but unharmed. Scrap code. The voice belongs to the on-deck engine seer who has turned to the Lord Captain from his station. We have been attacked with scrap code, a tech heresy designed to corrupt machines. The transmission received from the planet was infected with this taint, and it is now running through the ship's veins. Omnissiah, preserve us! The void-born officer appears before the Lord Captain once more. Whatever it is that's attacking us, we have a backup procedure that can circumvent the Volk's barrier. In the atrium leading to the bridge, there's a terminal for an isolated system that might still be unaffected. A loud pop. The pipes over the officers' heads burst, and a blast of hot air flings the Voidborn away from the Lord Captain, his body slamming straight through a cogitator panel. The pict frame spins uncontrollably. The servo skull was jolted by the gust. The pict recorder fogs over, the vox picking up the crackling of electricity and a death cry. Gas on the bridge! A junior attendant shouts and instantly doubles over, inhaling the poisoned air. The rogue trader gives the order to evacuate immediately. The rogue trader personally oversees the evacuation. Bring the plasma cutters! Get the wounded to the exit! The officers repeat his orders. When the servo skull following the rogue trader reaches the doors, they fall to the plasma cutters and crumble outward. The rogue trader is the last to leave the bridge. The rogue trader takes a few steps down the corridor and breaks into a coughing fit, undoubtedly a result of spending too long on the bridge. Splashes of crimson stain his clothes and the floor, and the Lord Captain shakes his head. The farther the rogue trader walks into the atrium, the more unsteady his footsteps become. The Lord Captain takes a moment to lean against the bulkhead, but then crumples to the floor, coughing up gouts of blood onto his chest. Several people immediately dash to the rogue trader's side. The rogue trader is taken to the Medicaid deck, where he is instantly surrounded by doctors. The crowd is so dense that the servo skull anxiously circles above them, trying to catch a glimpse of the subject of its recording. At last, the Lord Captain opens his eyes, dragged back to consciousness by a cocktail of medications and biostimulants from several IV bags. Reiterate the duty that every citizen of the Imperium owes to humanity. What? Okay. Through the wheezes and coughs, the Lord Captain begins to quote numerous codices, whose commandments must be followed by every man, woman, and child in the Imperium. His solemn words are filled with a call to fulfill their sacred duty to the bitter end. The officers are too exhausted. It's easy to tell by their fallen faces and hunched shoulders that each word the Lord Captain says crushes their spirit like a rock rather than helping it soar. Ashamed of their own weakness, they leave the Medicaid deck and shuffle off to their stations in resignation. The Lord Captain spends some time in bed, in the doctor's meticulous care. Out there somewhere, beyond the bulkheads of the blinded and deafened ship, people who've been left without their leader are fighting against an unknown threat. New victims are constantly being brought to the Medicaid deck. The servo skull records medics carrying in a young man, the right side of his body a mess of flesh and bone. Then a young woman with her jaw missing and her ribs bared. As if realizing the pointlessness of his stay here, the Lord Captain demands to be patched up and helped to his feet. Return to the bridge. The walk to the bridge is uneventful. The crisis has passed. Although wounded and crippled, the ship nevertheless is returning to normal operation. Life on the bridge is as bustling as ever, even though the people are surrounded by destruction. The senior officers have the situation under control, and the people have been organized. The emergency crew have already finished repairing the pipes. The technomats are setting up cogitators and consoles, and the healers are bagging up what few corpses there are and examining the wounded. By the comm station, the rogue trader runs into the Voxmaster. Praise the Emperor. You're in one piece, Lord Captain. The situation on board is satisfactory. I was just in the middle of setting up comm channels. Soon all the Vox casters will be fully operational. Lord Captain, the Voxmaster's voice is quivering with exhaustion. The situation has been brought under control, more or less. It will take some time to eliminate the consequences of the attack completely, but the vessel is capable of motion. We may even be able to conduct a warp jump if you feel we should leave the system. Allow me to bring you up to date. Fortunately, the bridge suffered only minor losses. The reports mention only a few casualties that have already been replaced. Kiava Gamma went silent after transmitting the harmful signal. I will refrain from sending inquiries to the industrial world to avoid a second attack. I'm afraid we've exhausted our options for remote analysis. More information can only be obtained by closing the distance or even sending an away party to the planet's surface. The Vox clicks as Heinrichs joins the channel. The time has come to remind you about our agreement, Gladius. I must be present in your entourage during your expedition to Kiava Gamma. I am counting on your cooperation. The crew is awaiting further instructions, Lord Captain. Oh, we gotta fight our way into Kiava Gamma, folks. We have made it to Kiava Gamma system. We have endured a very difficult attack on the ship. We had a seemingly unmissable check get missed, but we deal with what we deal with, and now we are ready to land on Kiava Gamma, fight our way through this ship situation on the outside, and figure out what is going on here. But I think we'll need to get into all of those things next time. This has been Disabled. My name is Ed, and this has been the fantastic Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps me out tremendously. But truly, until we see each other again, make your way with love and light. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today, and goodbye.